My name's Jesse Josefsson. I am the host of SyncMyMusic, which has been, I think, probably the most popular sync licensing education platform on the internet, going all the way back to 2016. I decided to launch a YouTube channel, which then spawned many different services and courses and instructions, including my most recent app that I launched a few months ago called SyncMatch. And this is the app that I basically decided to include an auto tagging feature, and that's where basically Cyanite and I started to connect, is realizing that I really needed something dependable, reliable, and accurate that could tag music for my customers so that they could get deeper insights into where they should be pitching their music. My primary purpose for what I'm doing with SyncMyMusic is to empower sync licensing producers, music creators, to create direct relationships with libraries, publishers, sync agents, anybody that they feel would be the best match for their particular music. With regards to SyncMatch, I actually didn't have a previous tagging solution in place. I had tried a few different tagging models out there, and none of them were very accurate. There were actually some major issues with most of them. Genres were wrong, moods were wrong. So I knew I needed an auto tagging solution. I did try a few different ones before I settled on Cyanite because I wanted to get a sort of good overview on which ones are the best, the strongest models out there. And you really don't know that until you usually try them. I know that Cyanite has the biggest name out there in terms of the sync licensing industry. I think largely due to the fact that you guys partnered with Source Audio. And so you guys have just been in the news. You guys have been in our industry. And so when it came time to trying you out, I was very pleasantly surprised at the results that we got. In fact, I had some beta testers on my app right when I plugged in Cyanite just to see, hey, what do you guys think about the results we're getting here from their auto tagging model? And one of the members said it was so accurate, it was almost spooky because it got things that even they wouldn't have probably thought of themselves. But after they saw it on the screen, they thought, yeah, that's exactly what my track is. And now that I have these tags, it helps me further classify my music. So getting testimonials like that from my beta testers was what gave me confidence to move forward with you guys. I need to have an app that actually delivers great high quality tagging, and I need to go to where the best of the business is, essentially. What was the really reassuring thing about working with you guys from the very beginning? I don't know if you remember this, Jacob, but I had emailed you probably a couple of months before I signed on with you. And when I decided, okay, I've tried the rest, got to go try the best. I reached out to you, and I think you responded within like an hour or two. You were very, very quick to me. And you just immediately were like, all right, if you want to get started, here you go. Here's the paperwork. Here's the documentation. Here's your key. You were just so fast. And I was so ready to move on from the other tagging models that just having that very quick, fast customer service, which I'll say I did not get that from other tagging models that I've been trying to work with and partner with. That was also a deciding factor for me, is to know that if you're this responsive to me when I'm signing up, if I have problems in the future, if I have some issues, technical glitches, you guys have been very, very quick just to go, hey, yeah, we'll take care of that. So just knowing that you guys are very reliable and you're quick to your responses and technical inquiries is very reassuring, especially to somebody like me who's not very technically minded. So for SyncMatch, having accurate tags is crucial. If these tags aren't exactly accurate, if one tag says it's rock and yet you listen to the track and you're like, I think that's actually more hip hop than it is rock, and it's just not accurate, it's going to give you wacky results. It's going to say you should go to this company when really that's not the right company for you. It's going to say these TV shows have used your style of music recently, but really they were using hip hop, yours track was rock, or vice versa, right? If somebody has a commercial and they need upbeat, energetic pop music with horn stabs in it or something like that, they're going to type in upbeat, high tempo, pop, maybe female vocals, horns, whatever they're going to do. So if your particular music that you have has some of those elements, but they're not properly categorized, you just don't show up in the searches. I know some producers want to have really broad tags and broad categorizations because they want their tracks to be useful for everything, right? That's kind of makes sense. But what happens is you become bland and nobody really can use you because you're not really fitting any specific need because you're trying to be too broad. Your metadata is way more important actually in some respects than your actual music. Because if your metadata is off, your music won't even show up for somebody to listen to and preview.
Thanks so much for sharing. Cool. Coming to the next part, you have a super interesting way how you integrated Cyanite into SyncMatch. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm what they would probably call a vibe coder. I'm not a technical person. I don't have coding skills. I don't understand any coding language. I've never built an app in my life. SyncMatch is the very first app I've ever built. The way that I was able to achieve it is I basically used a combination of ChatGPT and Grok, and they became my tutors and my mentors and my coders on demand. I would go to ChatGPT and I would say, I am looking to build an app that basically takes data from tracks that were placed on TV, categorize all those, tag them, and then allow users to upload music and find similar tags to match them on the back end so that they can get meaningful insights this way. So step by step, essentially, I was guided through how to do that. And one of the questions I asked ChatGPT was like, okay, well, which auto tagging models are available for this kind of a purpose? And Cyanite was one of those that popped up, among others. And then also with the ChatGPT interactions, basically it said you can use something called make.com to automate all of this for you. So you can basically create these little modules where the user uploads an MP3. The MP3 is then sent over to Cyanide's API. We allow the auto tagging model to apply all the tags. We then pull those tags back and we apply it to a Google Sheet, which eventually then goes right back into the app. And so the user can now see all those tags. And then we have further processes in that scenario. If you ask me how I did it, couldn't tell you right now. It's a complete mystery how I did it because I did it one step at a time. But I did learn a lot. And boy, by doing this and walking through this, I learned that I can do this, even though I'm not a technical person. And so for any of you guys that are watching this or reading this, if you don't have technical skills and you're like, well, using an API or partnering with Cyanite, if you've got AI, if you've got some grit, if you've got some sort of a real desire to basically build something really cool, and you think that like Cyanite could be the right fit for you and the right platform and the right service that would really enhance your product, you can do this. And if I can do this, you can do this. What's amazing about the times we're in is that it's like the world of possibilities are unlocked for people like me who don't have those technical backgrounds.
Awesome. Cool. How did you experience that the integration of the Cyanide tagging into your product has an actual valuable impact?
Yeah, that's an easy one. I've already had multiple members on my app successfully partner with production music libraries as a result of the accurate tags they've gotten from Cyanide. One being partnered with Extreme Music, which is basically one of the biggest libraries in our industry. Hans Zimmer has partnered with them, so it's one of the biggest out there. And they're really tough to get accepted by. They're not an easy company to work with. Once you're in, it's easy to work with them. To get accepted is very difficult. So we've already had success stories from members who uploaded music, got those accurate tags, and then our app said, based on your tags and based on our database, here are the libraries that are probably going to be the best fit for you. Here's their website, here's their email address, here's the tracks that they've recently placed. Go digging basically and find out if you want to pitch to this kind of a company. We are taking the amount of research time to basically minutes, which used to take hours, sometimes days, weeks. I think we're just at the beginning stages of seeing where people's careers are going to go because now they're going to be sending the right music to companies that have successfully placed that kind of music recently in the last 30, 60 days. I always tell them we're partnering with basically the sync licensing industry's leader auto tagging model. Source Audio has partnered with them. And if a company as big and as representative of our industry as Source Audio is using them, then you know that whatever tags are getting applied, it's the same tagging process that's going to your tracks. So if you're trying to really work well and fit into the sync licensing industry, I don't think there is a better model out there to be able to do that right now. So I always try to give them that reassurance that you can disagree with them. You can subjectively decide you want to go a different way. That's totally fine. Just know that the tags that you are given are the industry standards right now. If you're in the market for an auto tagging model, accuracy has got to be the top of your list. Customer service and accuracy. You could have the most accurate model, but if you can't get anybody to respond to your email or your phone call, which I have had, it's just kind of not really that helpful because you can't use their product. So the fact that you guys have both of those things kind of locked in is really, really reassuring. I do like to see companies that are constantly improving and updating their own technology. I even saw that you guys were just asking feedback about people that were using the API. And I do see a lot of evidence that you guys are taking our feedback seriously, that you guys are wanting our feedback, and you are wanting to be as competitive as you possibly can be in this industry.
Do you have any personal views about AI having entered the music industry?
The future is obviously still unclear right now as to whether or not generative AI music will fully disrupt our industry in terms of generative music being used instead of human created music. That's still 50-50. My personal opinion is that I do want and I do think that generative AI companies should be getting consent for copyright protected music that they train upon because I see it as a great potential partnership because, yeah, they've developed some amazing high quality generative models. It's like, it's magic what these things can do. But imagine how magical they would sound if they weren't training on high quality content that was copyright protected. There's a large amount of that value that's getting extracted from copyright protected music. And so I do want to see those copyright holders, first of all, asked for that. I do say, above all this noise, I try to stay optimistic. And obviously, I'm embracing AI tools. SyncMatch is primarily an AI tool with a lot of data and a lot of auto tagging and other features involved with it. We do not train any of our users' music, though, with anything, so no generative purposes. I still see there's going to be a bright future for high quality music. I still see a bright future for sync licensing for a small number of producers that can create music that sounds very original and very compelling. So I am very optimistic about the technology, and I do follow this space very closely.
Oh, that's beautiful words. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
That
appreciate it,
was
man. Yeah, that was pretty cool.